Hey everybody, John the Other here, obviously. That's normally how I introduce these videos. But I'm John Hembling, and today I want to tell you about a guy who was falsely accused and was, in my opinion, going to go to jail and is now not going to go to jail because he's innocent. As you might know from previous videos, I work with a nonprofit called Lighthouse that helps people survive false accusations. Normally, I can't talk about any of the cases that we are working on because of the sensitivity of the information we deal with. But I'm going to tell you about one case, and I'll be simplifying the story as well as leaving some details out to protect the identities of the people involved. The accused person, I will call James, not his real name, is a 20-something kid living at home with his parents doing seasonal outdoor work between university sessions. The accuser, will just call her Chloe, not her real name, is the now former girlfriend of James, and she's also 20-something who happens to be skinny and conventionally good looking, but also is mentally disturbed by a combination of bad parenting and sexual interference by several of her mother's male acquaintances during her childhood and adolescence. Now, I'm not a mental health professional, but it appears that the girl had no concept of herself as a person of value other than through the sexual attention that she could attract in person and online. As a consequence of this image problem, she was sexually involved with some unknown number of other men in the real world and online. She also had what I would call a high conflict personality, and during the course of the year-long relationship with her now former boyfriend, she would break up with him about every 4 to 6 days in a non-stop cycle of near-continuous over-sexualized text messaging, accusations of infidelity against the boyfriend, personal meltdowns by her, and then reconciliations of the relationship in a non-stop loop, punctuated by gonzo porn-style sex, both in person with her boyfriend and through sexting. So I do have some pity for the accuser in this case, but she is a deeply messed up girl who I think is going to have a rough time going forward. But the boyfriend figured out that she was cheating on him, obviously, which resulted in a multi-hour argument at the home of the boyfriend and his parents in which he was injured, suffering lacerations to his arm, and in which she, who is tiny in comparison to him, was not injured. There's additional drama after this in which the girl threatens to kill herself, and that puts the boyfriend back into rescue her mode. I won't bore you with those details. This is a loop that's been repeating for most of their year-long relationship, differing only now in the fact that the boy finally understands that she is certainly sexually active with some unknown number of other men, both in person and online. So after this argument, the accuser went to the police and made the first of 2 recorded police interviews in which she described their relationship as one in which she was regularly confined as a kind of prisoner, as well as being sexually abused in a way that resembles gonzo-style porn. In her police interviews, she is very convincing as a victim. And it looks at this point like the 20-something-year-old James, not his real name, is going to go to jail for a long time and be put on the sex offender registry for a decade or more after his release. He's arrested. And he does something at this point that takes real strength of character. He preserved his evidence in the form of his text message history on his phone. He did not unlock his phone and hand it to the police when they asked for it, as it was his right to refuse under these particular circumstances, which, by the way, is why this story has a happy ending. The text message history on the phone remained in the possession of the accused, and it was not deleted or lost. And once that message history was exported to a text document, it was over 5,000 pages long and included every sext exchange in the past 7 months between the accuser and the accused, showing who was driving the relationship, showing whose sexual fantasies were being enacted, and demonstrating who was in psychological control of the other person, and who was going reluctantly along with sexual activity that they were uncomfortable with under protest. Neither James, not his real name, nor his family could have read through this message history after his accusation and arrest because all of them were in a state of extended trauma and terror at this point. Diana Davison, the co-founder of the Lighthouse Project, spent a week reading through that message history, and then Diana and I created a summary of its contents, pointing out where each accusation from the accuser's police interview matched the contents of the message history, but pointing out that it was the accuser in each case demanding the participation of the accused and not the other way round. In fact, the accusations against this young man were an almost perfect reversal in terms of perpetrator and victim of what had actually gone on within the relationship according to the message history. We compiled this summary and we provided it to the family of the accused, who then passed it along to their lawyer. The lawyer then shared portions of that summary with the Crown Prosecutor, and the Crown Prosecutor dropped the sex assault charge and offered the accused a peace bond, which means No going to trial, no criminal record, no guilty finding, no offender registry. And although this young man was on his way to jail and probably registration as a sex offender, he was in fact innocent, and now he will not be going to trial or to jail. Now, this kid and his family is going to have some work to do to put their lives back together and try to return to something like normal life. It doesn't just go back to being rainbows and unicorns when you survive a false accusation. But I call this a win. And the reason this was possible at all is that you guys are helping support the Lighthouse Project. So, obviously, thank you. It's you who is making this project possible. And believe it or not, we've got more recent good news to share related to other cases, which will be included in the monthly update that goes out to everybody helping support Lighthouse each month. As always, if you'd like to help support the work we're doing, you can donate to Lighthouse through the link in the description. That's all for now. Thanks very much for watching, and as always, have a lovely, lovely day.